So, let's talk about Apple's big AI event. The stage was set, the lights were bright, and honestly, the world was watching. Apple promised something revolutionary, a new chapter in personal computing. They called it Apple Intelligence, a suite of AI tools designed to be deeply integrated into the operating system. The core promise was simple: powerful AI that was personal, private, and intuitive. It wasn't just about adding a chatbot, it was about making your iPhone, iPad, and Mac smarter and more helpful in your everyday life. This was Apple's long-awaited answer to the AI features we've seen from Google, Microsoft, and others, and yeah, the hype was real. The keynote painted a picture of seamless assistance. Imagine your phone automatically summarizing long emails, creating custom emojis on the fly, or finding a specific photo based on a vague description like that picture of me in a blue shirt at the beach. Apple showed demos of new writing tools that could proofread your work or change the tone of a message with a single tap. They emphasized that this intelligence would understand you and your context. It would know your contacts, your calendar, and your habits to provide truly personal help. This wasn't just another feature. It was presented as the next evolution of the Apple ecosystem. Apple's narrative was all about making AI accessible and safe for everyone. The promise was that you wouldn't need to be a tech expert to use these powerful new tools. They would just work quietly and efficiently in the background. From organizing your notifications to helping you draft the perfect reply, Apple Intelligence was supposed to feel like a natural extension of iOS. The company spent a lot of time reassuring users that this system was built with Apple's core values in mind, especially its commitment to user privacy. It was a compelling vision, and for many, it seemed like Apple was about to do what it does best: take a complex technology and make it elegant. The excitement in the tech community was palpable. For months we had been hearing rumors about Apple's AI project, codenamed Project Grey Matter. The keynote seemed to deliver on all fronts. Apple was finally stepping into the generative AI arena, but on its own terms. They weren't just chasing a trend, they were trying to redefine it. The focus was on practical, helpful features that millions of users could benefit from immediately, without compromising their data. The promise was a smarter, more capable device in your pocket, and honestly, everyone was eager to get their hands on it and see if the reality lived up to the massive hype. Now let's break down the technical side of Apple's promise. The killer feature was on-device processing. Apple explained that most of the AI tasks would happen directly on your iPhone's chip. This is a huge deal. It means the AI could work incredibly fast because it didn't need to send your data to a server in the cloud and wait for a response. Everything from summarizing a web page to generating an image was supposed to happen locally. This on-device approach was also the cornerstone of their privacy argument. If your data never leaves your phone, it's inherently more secure. It's a classic Apple move, leveraging their custom silicon for a better user experience. The privacy angle was a major selling point. In a world where other AI models are constantly sending your queries and personal information to the cloud, Apple's approach felt different. They designed a system they called private cloud compute for more complex tasks. Even then, they promised that your data would be sent to special, secure servers in an encrypted, anonymous way. Apple claimed it wouldn't be able to access or store any of this information. This focus on privacy was meant to build trust. You could use these powerful AI features without feeling like you were giving up your personal life, which is a major concern for a lot of people these days. Offline capability was another big promise tied to the on-device model. Because the AI lived on your phone, many of its core functions were supposed to work even without an internet connection. You could be on a plane or in an area with bad reception and still be able to use the new writing tools, organize your photos, or get help with tasks. This is a significant advantage over cloud-based AI systems that become useless the moment your Wi-Fi drops. It fits perfectly into the idea of a personal device that is always reliable and ready to assist you no matter where you are. The combination of speed, privacy, and offline access looked like a game-changer on paper. Ultimately, Apple's pitch was about creating a smarter, not just a more powerful, AI. The intelligence was meant to be deeply contextual. It would understand the content on your screen and the relationships between your apps. For example, you could ask Siri to pull up the file Maria sent me last week, and it would know who Maria is, search your messages and emails, and find the correct file. This level of integration is only possible when the AI is woven into the fabric of the operating system. It was an ambitious plan that, if executed perfectly, could have set a new standard for what we expect from our personal technology and our digital assistants. So, the developer beta of the new iOS dropped and people started testing Apple Intelligence. And right away it became clear that the reality didn't quite match the polished demos from the keynote. Users immediately ran into a wall of bugs and performance issues. The much-hyped writing tools would often crash or fail to appear. The new Siri, which was supposed to be more conversational and aware, frequently misunderstood commands or defaulted to its old, less capable self. It felt less like a seamless, integrated system and more like a collection of features that weren't quite talking to each other yet. This was not the smooth, it just works experience we've come to expect from Apple. The problems weren't just small glitches either. A significant number of the headline features were simply missing from the initial release. The advanced Siri capabilities, the deeper app integrations, and some of the more complex image generation tools were nowhere to be found. Apple had put a little asterisk on some of these during the keynote, saying they would come later this year, but the list of unavailable features was longer than many expected. What users got was a very early, very incomplete version of Apple Intelligence. It felt more like an alpha test than a beta, leaving many to wonder if the software was even ready for developers, let alone the public. Then there were the connection problems. For the features that relied on Apple's new private cloud compute, the experience was inconsistent at best. Users reported long delays, server timeouts, and frequent error messages. The system that was supposed to seamlessly switch between on-device and cloud processing seemed to be struggling under the initial load. This completely undermined the promise of a fast and responsive AI. Instead of instant results, users were left waiting, often for a feature to fail. This was particularly frustrating because it went against the core principles of speed and reliability that Apple had built its entire presentation around. The overall functionality was just very limited. The AI often lacked the deep context it was supposed to have. For instance, asking it to summarize a long email thread might only work some of the time. The photo search was hit or miss, and the custom emoji generator, while fun, felt more like a gimmick than a game-changing tool. It became clear that the grand vision of an all-knowing, perfectly integrated assistant was still a long way off. What users experienced was a frustratingly buggy and incomplete preview that felt rushed out the door, generating more questions than answers about the state of Apple's AI ambitions. The reaction online was swift and for Apple, unusually critical. Tech enthusiasts, developers, and regular users took to social media and forums to share their disappointment. The sentiment was clear: this was not what they were expecting. The phrase "a rare Apple misstep" started popping up everywhere. Apple has a long-standing reputation for launching polished, high-quality products. Even their beta software is typically more stable than this. The buggy and incomplete state of Apple Intelligence felt uncharacteristic, leading many to label the launch a failure. It was a stark contrast to the company's usual track record of under-promising and over-delivering. This fumble puts Apple in a difficult position in the great AI race. While competitors like Google and Microsoft are already on their second or third generation of AI products, Apple is just getting started, and they stumbled right out of the gate. The rocky launch has damaged their credibility. It gives the impression that Apple rushed to get something, anything, out the door to avoid falling further behind. This hurts their narrative of being the thoughtful, deliberate player who only releases products when they are truly ready. In the fast-moving world of AI, perception is everything, and right now, the perception is that Apple is playing catch-up and struggling. Looking ahead, this launch could force Apple to rethink its strategy. They will undoubtedly work hard to fix the bugs and roll out the missing features in the coming months, but the trust deficit is real. Will users be as excited for the final release now that the first impression was so poor? This situation may pressure Apple to be more transparent about its development process and timelines. It also raises questions about whether their on-device first approach, while great for privacy, is too technically challenging to execute quickly. They need to prove that their method can deliver a user experience that is not just safer, but also better than the competition's. So, the big question remains: did Apple rush this launch? All signs point to yes. It feels like the pressure to have an answer to ChatGPT and Gemini forced their hand. They presented a bold vision at the keynote, but the software simply wasn't ready to back it up. Apple has a history of recovering from missteps, think Apple Maps, but the AI landscape is more competitive and moving much faster. This isn't just about fixing bugs, it's about restoring faith in Apple's ability to lead innovation. Whether this stumble will be a minor footnote or a defining moment in their AI journey is something we'll all be watching very closely.